Okay, we've talked about a whole lot of golden ages. We've talked about the golden age of Greece, of Alexander, of the Romans, of the Guptas, of China, which there were many. Yet another is the golden age of Islam. Kind of took place between about 750 and 1258 AD in the area you see shaded on the map. It also spread into Spain, so it went this way and elsewhere in the Middle East and was connected by the Indian Ocean trade routes to India and China. So, big time of expansion, a lot of stuff going on, and we're going to talk about it. And then we will compare them with the Tang and the Song. So make sure that you have your graphic organizer that we did in class, the Venn diagram filled in, and the homework that we did, or the book work that you did when I was away at my conference. So, what did Muslims achieve in economics, art, literature, and science? Well, under the Abbasids, who were the longest serving of the Muslim civilizations or the Muslim empires, Muslim civilization absorbed traditions from all the people who lived under Muslim rule, including Jews and Christians. The Abbasid great works produced by scholars of the Abbasid period shaped Muslim culture and civilization, and European scholars even began to study Muslim art and science. Muslim rulers united diverse cultures, incorporated learning from many regions. Merchants were valued in the Muslim world. They spread products, cultures, ideas widely. We know this as cultural diffusion. You had camel caravans that came across the Sahara Desert to West Africa. You had the Silk Roads, which we've talked about, providing the link with East Asia and Europe. And then you had the monsoon winds that blew across the Indian Ocean that directed the trade routes. And you can see those on the map here. When during one monsoon it would blow you towards India, the other monsoon would take you to Africa. So there was kind of seasonal trade during this. As more people convert to Islam, Arabic becomes more widely understood, and it kind of becomes the language of trade and learning. Indian numbers are introduced, and they became today's Arabic numerals that we use. Sugar is introduced from India. Paper making comes from China, and many new business practices, partnerships, checks and credit all grow from the use of a money economy, where Europe at this time is still on a barter economy. Okay, handicraft industries are valued. Heads of each guild regulate quality, price, and production. Some of the most valued products were steel swords from Damascus, Syria, leather goods from Cordoba in Spain, cotton textiles, which is just fabric, from Egypt, and carpets from Persia. Persian rugs are still a big deal today. There's a store downtown, Jacobs and Oriental Rugs, that sell these rugs. Muslim rulers extend agriculture. In addition to food, farmers grow cotton, sugarcane, flowers, and herbs, and a whole lot of other stuff. Okay, there was social mobility with options to improve your standing through religious, military, or scholastic achievements, but slavery is still there. Many slaves are house servants, skilled artisans, or soldiers who could earn their freedoms, and they could often buy their freedom. If a slave's father was a freeman, he could be freed as well. Okay, Islamic art and literature reflect the diverse cultures within the Muslim world. Okay, calligraphy is a big piece of this. We'll get to that in a second. It's forbidden to portray God or human figures in religious artwork. Okay, and this is what, if you follow the news at all, there's been a lot of uproar about cartoons about the Prophet Muhammad and things like that have caused a lot of problems when they're published. The Quran is the greatest piece of literature during this time frame, and this is up here on the right is just a page from the Quran to give you an idea of what it looks like in the original script. Rich tradition of storytelling continues. Some of these you know of. Firduzi Shah, or the Book of Kings, told the history of Persia. The Rubaiyat of Omar Khayyam is a philosophical work of line stanzas. Probably the most famous ones are the Journeys of Ali Baba and the 40 Thieves and Aladdin and his Magic Lamp from the 1001 Nights. Huge compendium of Arabic stories. Okay, big piece of the puzzle is their architecture, and most of that architecture is devoted towards the building of mosques. Okay, and they copied a lot of the stuff from the Byzantines. Dome of the Rock in Israel, which you can see a cross section up here on the left and a picture of where it sits in Jerusalem, is the oldest surviving Muslim architecture. It's built in 688. Dome mosques and high minarets still dominate Muslim cities such as Medina. Here's a picture of the Great Mosque of Medina. The minarets are these tall spires on each corner. This is where the people called the muezzins go up and they call people to prayer. It's kind of like almost like a giant loudspeaker. Okay, and these are all over Muslim cities. Muslim artists perfect calligraphy. You can see an example below here on the left. Works in elaborate flowing script, especially illustrating verses of the Quran, but also are found as decorations on buildings, ceramics, and books. Muhammad's great respect for learning inspires people to learn more. Philosophy, history, mathematics, and science all boomed during this time. Learning from earlier civilizations translated into Arabic, from Persian, Sanskrit, and Greek. And there are great centers of learning founded in Cairo, Egypt, Baghdad in modern-day Iraq, Cordoba in Spain, and Timbuktu in West Africa and the Kingdom of Mali. Arab scholars translate works from Greek and Hindu and Buddhist philosophers. Ibn Rushd gave the knowledge to the tests of reason, and Ibn Khaldun set standards to avoid bias and error in the study of history. Things we do in class, looking for bias and errors in history. Scholars seek to harmonize Greek ideas they base on reason with Muslim ideas based on divine revelation. So they try to balance the two things, reason and spirituality. Okay, Arabic numeral system. We use this today. You can see the transition from Eastern Muslim regions like India to the Western regions in Africa, and then the modern Western script next to it. They made a lot of advances. Okay, algebra was invented by the Arabs, or at least perfected by the Arabs. Pioneered by a man named Al-Khwarizmi, and takes its name from another scholar named Al-Jibril, translated to algebra. Okay, building on the work of the Greeks and Muslims, greatly advanced medicine and public health. Physicians and pharmacists have to pass tests to practice. They're hospitals, physicians who travel to rural areas, stuff that doesn't happen even in the modern times. Okay, you usually have to go to the doctor. They don't come to you anymore. They mix bitter tasting medicines with sweet tasting syrups and gums for the first time. Think about if you've had cough syrup lately or something like that. Okay, so a lot of things go on during the Muslim age. They make great advances. Okay, they study measles and smallpox, stress the need to treat the mind as well as the body. They compile a huge canon of medicine, a medical encyclopedia. And they can even perform cataract surgery using hollow needles, which is a very popular surgery today. So, a lot of stuff happens. There is a Google form quiz attached on Google Classroom and Edmodo. You need to do that and turn it in. And you need to review your Song and Tang Dynasty's Venn diagram and the completed bookwork from last week. So that is it. We'll discuss this in class.